There's a problem with spirituality, and it's everywhere. And everywhere I turn, it seems to be the new way of viewing the spiritual path. And I can guarantee that you've at least looked at this, even if you don't feel that you can relate to it. I mean, I sure have. When I started out meditating and when I started out looking into the spiritual world being something different than here, I came at it because I thought there has to be more to life than making money, getting girls, driving fast cars, and getting a big house and getting promoted. There has to be something more to life. I want to do something meaningful. So I fell into the idea of spirituality is actually about creating my dream life, about finding my destiny or my purpose or the thing that I'm supposed to do. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Martin Peterson, and I left 2007. I left Sweden to become a Buddhist monk in Sri Lanka. And I backpacked for 2 years, and then I lived as a Buddhist monk for 6 years, traveling to different meditation centers. And during all of that time, especially in the beginning, I was on this grand journey where I wanted to help the world. I wanted to find my calling, to write a book. I think I even started writing something which would be so embarrassing to read now. It would be hilarious, actually, because it was just rehashed stuff of what I had read from other places. But I still believed that I was on this big journey, and my sense of self was really strong because I am important. I need to go somewhere and I need to make something with my life. And I thought that if I could just find that thing that I'm supposed to do, then I'll find happiness, I'll find peace, I'll find the thing I'm looking for. If I can just find the right thing to do. And today, the law of attraction has basically become spirituality for a lot of people, that it's become what we believe we're supposed to do, because obviously you want to have money, obviously you want to have a great life, obviously you want to meet your soulmate or your life partner, or you want to do great things in the world. The problem with this that most people don't see is that it just continues what you did before. Before, I thought, oh, if I could just make more money, if I could just find the right partner, if I could just have the right car, the right things around me, the right clock, the right clothes, then I would be happy. The fallacy is, of course, as soon as you do that, you're just going to have the next thing you need because, well, then I need a better car. I need a bigger house. I need a different girlfriend. You would always change because you can never be satisfied. When you go into the spiritual scene, what we'll do then is that I need to make sure. There's even a branch a big branch actually in Buddhism called Mahayana Buddhism, which is about the idea that it's not about getting liberated yourself, it's about liberating the whole world. So you should get just to the edge and become what are they called? To become a bodhisattva, that's what it's called. Just to the edge, and then you become a bodhisattva, which means you just didn't get liberated, but then you come back and you help the world. And then we all together become liberated because we end suffering on the planet, and then we, in 100,000 lifetimes, we become enlightened as a planet. The problem with that is that you're hinging your happiness, your enjoyment of being here on everyone else being happy. You're saying basically that I'm not going to allow myself to feel joy and really enjoy being here until everyone else feels joy, until everyone becomes a vegan, until everyone helps everyone, until there's no wars, until the world around me changes to what I want it to be. Which, if you think about it, it's the same as we did before. If everyone would just give me more money, if they would just do what I want them to do politically, then I would be happy. Now we're wanting the same thing. It's just that the things we want are more. I mean, obviously, I agree with the Mahayanist approach and help other people, make sure everyone is suffering as little as possible. But there is no reason why you should hinge your happiness on that. The idea that we need something to happen outside of us for us to enjoy this life is so absurd to most people that they can't even imagine what it would be like to live life and enjoy this moment right now, independent of what's happening around you. And let me just go into a little bit of detail to explain what that means. When we say things like that, people say, oh, well, basically it means that I'm sitting here, I'm not thinking about how much money I have on my bank account, where my wife is, what she looks like, what my children are like, how good grades they got, what my job is. No, you're thinking about what you're doing here. So you're looking at how beautiful the sky is, how beautiful the trees are, how nice this house is, how lucky I should be with the things that I have here. that is still focusing on the story of our life, or the story of what's happening around us. What we need to do to really enjoy being here, and something that no one can ever take away from us, is to focus on the actual experience of life. So not your life story, but life. What is it like to be alive? If I sit here, it's pleasant to feel wind on my skin. It is pleasant to feel the sun in my face. It's pleasant to smell the summer air, and I can hear the birds singing and the wind rustling the leaves. It's pleasant to hear the sound on my ears. Not that the tree is beautiful, or that nature is beautiful, or that it's nice that it's good weather. It would be pleasant to sit here when it's raining and I could feel the rain running down my skin. It would be pleasant to feel the storm blowing by on autumn. It would also get cold if I didn't have clothes, and it would make sense to go inside. So we're not talking about lobotomizing ourselves and not being engaged with the world and thinking like, oh, this is not important, and just go out and get cold and get hypothermia and die. We're talking about enjoying the experience of life, not your life story. Spirituality, unfortunately, the way that it's been going now is that it's all about what happens in the outside world, or even inside. We want to experience certain things. We want to have these strong emotions. And we think that the opposite of what would basically be positive thinking, I want everything to be good, is negative thinking. But there is something else that we can do, which is actually to skip that whole thing. Instead of focusing on the thoughts we have, or what we want the world to be like, we focus on how we feel. And we don't try to avoid how we feel by thinking, well, I'm going to ignore that there's suffering in the world. I'm not going to think about it. It's just, nope, it's not real to me. I'm here. I'm not going to care about that. We're not avoiding it. Instead, we're allowing ourselves to feel, what does it feel like to feel pain? What does it feel like to see someone suffering? What does it feel like to see a child die from starvation? Or to see war, how people are meaninglessly killed? Or to see people do dumb stuff and somehow hurt other people intentionally, which is mad. It's really mad. For most of you watching this, it's like, why would you do that? And allowing yourself to feel those feelings, but we're so afraid. We just go, oh no, I'm not going to touch that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel my lack of money. I don't want to feel my lack of the things I have. I just want to feel abundance. I want to feel powerful. So we don't allow ourselves to really feel what we feel, and we're negating who we are, what's going on inside of us, which means that you'll always have this pressure towards the outside world. Either you want things or you don't want them, instead of being okay with the world being the way it is. It's uncomplicated to do this, but it can be incredibly difficult, because we're so used to hinging our happiness, or allowing ourselves to be happy, with our environment or our life story being a certain way. If it isn't like that, then I don't allow myself to be happy. The option seems to be putting a happy smile on our face when we go around and we smile and we think positively, which misses the point. You're just changing the perspective, thinking like, oh, that thing that happened was bad, it's actually a good thing because it's going to lead to something good in the future. I'm saying skip all of that and learn to feel good no matter what your life experience is. Your life story. And focus on your life experience. That's not to say that there aren't situations that are incredibly difficult to enjoy, that will seem impossible, but there's no reason to jump into that if you're not in that situation. Instead, just try with small things. When you wake up in the morning and the alarm bell rings, instead of going, oh, I don't like this feeling, try enjoying that feeling. Try seeing what it would be like to actually enjoy being here and not wanting to escape this world, because that's a choice we have. We've just given that away to other people who decide what you're supposed to have, be, or do to feel happy. A really good way of approaching this is to feel appreciation for the things around you, for the world as it is. Not to be confused with gratitude, which are two very different things that can mess things up. And it's one of the ways that spirituality has kind of taken a concept that makes a lot of sense, but we're not going to make it gratitude journal so that we can have the things we want. I made a video here where I go into more detail about what the difference is between gratitude and appreciation that will make it easier for you to understand this whole concept of how you would go about to enjoy your life experience no matter what your life story says to you.